Pentecost after the resurrection of Jesus in AD 33. On that great and noble day, the kingdom, which is the church, according to Matthew chapter 16, verses 18 following, the body of Jesus Christ, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, 12 to 25, the household of God, the priesthood, or shall I say royal priesthood, all being synonyms interchangeably used to represent and acknowledge that one and the self-same spiritual institution. It definitively, emphatically came into existence in Acts chapter 2, for Jesus said in verse 47, praising God and having favor with all the people, and the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved. I like the writing of the American Standard of 1901, where the record says in Acts 2 and 47, praising God and having favor with all the people, and the Lord added to the church every day such are those that were to be saved. The church then came into existence. But on that day, those brethren saw something that they had never seen before. They saw it in a way that they had never seen it before. It was not that they had not seen miracles. They had seen Jesus heal a man at the pool of Bethsaida. They had seen Jesus heal the blind man, born blind from his mother's womb. They had seen Jesus raise men from the dead. They had seen the disciples of Jesus perform many wonderful miracles. Even, I believe, in instances, did they see in that day the forces of satanic presence and dynamic spirit that existed in the miraculous dispensation. It was not that they had never seen miracles before, but they had never, ever seen what happened on the first Pentecost after the resurrection of Jesus in AD 33. The Spirit descended in the form of a rushing mighty wind and fire, and it sat upon each of the apostles, and all of those Parthians and Medes and Elamites and dwellers in Mesopotamia and Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Crete, Arabians, all heard the message of the cross. The fact that Jesus Christ hung, bled, and died for the remission of their sins. And 3,000 of those men walked out on the pleading turn of the gospel, and they were added unto them. Luke says in Acts chapter 2, about 3,000 souls. Could you imagine today a gospel meeting where 3,000 people are obeyed and baptized in the same night? Could you imagine a campaign where great gospel preachers preach to the French and to the German and to the Italian and to nations and languages all over the world, and they come together as members in one church? Do I hear an amen here? And a spirit set in to those people. Oh, how I would that that spirit were alive in the church today. There was a spirit among those Christians where they felt that every man had a right to have his needs met. They felt like the houses and lands and goods and possessions that they owned was not just for their welfare and for their benefit, but it was for the welfare and benefit of any man who stood in need. I say again, I would that that spirit were alive and well in the church again today. And I know we're living in a time of lazy people and con artists and people whose intent may be ill. But brethren, I want to tell you something. If a man's no bigger than to lose his soul and go to hell over a few dollars, then I don't know if there's much hope for him. It brings to my mind an unfortunate, in my estimation, event, one that makes what is so-called Christianity by some, but real Christianity looked bad when this Pat fella of the 700 Club goes on nationwide television and ignorantly says that the plight in Haiti is as a result of the rebellion of 1849, when Haiti rebelled against the French to gain their independence, that they cut a deal with the devil. And so